A lot of people think when a woman walks away, that's when she left you. But that's not the truth, homie. She left way before that. The moment the energy changed, the moment she stopped feeling that fire in you, that's when it started. You might not notice it right away because you're too busy thinking everything's cool, but energy never lies. She ain't leaving your body, she's leaving your spirit, the one that used to inspire her, make her believe in something bigger than herself. See, when you first met her, you were driven. You had vision. You had that hunger in your eyes. You were moving with purpose. She didn't fall for your looks or your talk. She fell for your energy. That silent confidence, that I'm going somewhere. You can ride with me if you saw that energy. That's what women connect to. They can feel it before you even speak. But the moment that energy shifts, when you stop leading with discipline, when you get too comfortable, when you forget who you were, that's when the distance starts to build. You stop being the man she believed in, and you start being the man who's just there. That's where most relationships die, not from cheating, not from fights, but from that slow fade of purpose. You used to talk about plans, now you talk about problems. You used to move with certainty, now you move with excuses. And the craziest part, she don't even tell you it's fading. She just feels it. It's in your tone, in your body language, in your silence. She feels the switch before you ever realize it flipped. You can't fake energy. You can't pretend to be focused when you lost inside. You can't act like a leader when you've been sitting still too long. The truth is, when a man loses direction, everything around him starts to collapse. His relationships, his respect, his peace. A woman just reflects that. She mirrors your frequency. If you're low, she feels low. If you're uncertain, she feels unsafe. And no woman stays long where she doesn't feel safe emotionally. That's why she pulls back. Not because she stopped loving you, but because you stopped being grounded in what made her trust you. So when you see her energy changing, she talking less, she's smiling less, she ain't excited when you come around. Don't start blaming her. Check yourself. Ask, what changed in me? Because 9 times out of 10, it ain't her. It's your energy that fell off. You got distracted, you got lazy, you stopped feeding your spirit, you let the world dim your light. And when your light dims, she can't see the man she fell for no more. That's the part most men don't want to face. They rather call her disloyal than admit they fell asleep on the job. But the truth is that relationships ain't built on comfort. They built on growth. The moment you stop growing, the energy stops flowing. You got to keep evolving. You got to keep showing up like the man you said you were. Because if you don't, she gonna feel it before you even open your mouth. That's what people don't understand about energy is communication beyond words. You can tell you love her 100 times, but if your energy says you're tired, insecure, or unmotivated, that's what she's gonna respond to. Love without energy is empty. Attention without presence is nothing. You gotta bring that same frequency you had when she believed in you every day, consistently. That's how you keep that connection alive. And if she already gone, don't let that break you. Let it teach you. Let it remind you that your energy is your responsibility. You can't expect someone to stay connected to you if you're not connected to yourself. Build that energy back up. Get your focus right. Tap back into your grind, your peace, your faith. The more you invest in your spirit, the more your energy becomes magnetic again. And when that happens, the right people naturally align with you, not because you chase them, but because your frequency calls them in. See, that's the real lesson in all of this. Women don't leave because they're tired of love. They leave because they're tired of feeling the disconnect. And once the energy is gone, love can't survive. So keep your energy clean. Protect it, nurture it, elevate it. Because at the end of the day, your energy is your currency. And if you spend it recklessly, you'll always end up broken the things that matter most. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Keep your energy right. When your energy's strong, everything and everyone around you starts to move in harmony again. A man without purpose is like a car with no engine. It might look clean, it might shine on the outside, but it ain't going nowhere. And when you start moving with purpose, everything around you starts to feel it, especially the woman beside you. See, when you met her, she didn't just see you. She saw what you were becoming. She saw that drive, that vision, that hunger in your eyes that told her he's headed somewhere. That's what made her want to ride with you. But the moment that fire faded, the respect did too. A woman don't lose faith in a man overnight. It happens when she watches you lose faith in yourself, when she sees you waking up without intention, when your talk gets louder than your grind, when you start living off potential instead of progress. That's when she starts questioning everything. Because a man without direction can't lead her anywhere. You can't expect a woman to stay inspired by you when you stop inspiring yourself. Purpose ain't about money or status. It's about having something bigger than ego, something that pulls you out of bed, even when you're tired, something that makes you stay discipline, even when nobody clapping for you. A woman feels safe when she sees a man moving with that kind of focus. That's what creates trust. Not just I got you, but I know where we going. Once that disappears, she starts feeling lost too. You ever notice how when you locked in on your vision, everything around you feels aligned? The argument's smaller, the energy smoother, the love stronger. That's cause purpose gives everything rhythm. But when you lose that rhythm, even the love starts sounding offbeat. She starts looking at you different, not with hate, with disappointment. And disappointment cuts deeper than anger. That's when she starts pulling back emotionally because she can't follow a man who's stuck in the same place, talking about moves he ain't making. The truth is, she never needed you to be perfect. She just needed you to keep moving, keep becoming, keep chasing what made her fall for you in the first place. But somewhere along the line, you got comfortable and you stopped dreaming loud. You started talking about what you used to do instead of what's next. And every time she heard you settling, a piece of her belief in you died. That's when she starts doing things you don't understand, becoming distant, detached, even defensive. You call it betrayal, but what you don't see is she already grieving the man you stopped being. You think she changed, but really she's reacting to your change. When a man stops walking in purpose, a woman feels like she's standing still beside him. And nobody, not even the most loyal woman, wants to feel stuck. You gotta understand, purpose ain't just about providing, it's about presence. When you wake up with no direction, your energy heavy, your spirit low, and she feels that. She feels when you're not proud of yourself. She feels when your confidence fading. And when she can't find security in your movement, she starts building her own. That's when she starts thinking about leaving, not because she want to hurt you, but because she can't keep waiting for you to wake up to your calling. It's not that she stopped loving you. She just can't love a man who's lost. Love needs direction. Without it, it's just emotion floating with no anchor. And when a woman realizes she's loving a man who's drifting, she starts choosing herself. That's when you see her eyes change, her energy shift, her patience disappear. And you can't fix that with words. You fix it with movement, with purpose, with consistency. You can't fake purpose. You can fake effort, fake confidence, fake efficacy, but not purpose. It's either in you or it's not. It's in how you carry yourself, how you talk, how you plan, how you move. It's in the discipline. When nobody watching, that's what keeps her believing. That's what keeps her loyal. You lose that, you lose her. So if she left, don't hate her for it. Take it as a message from the universe. You've been off track. You've been living without direction. You've been talking more than building. That's not punishment, that's correction. Use that pain to refocus. Let it remind you who you said you wanted to be. Once you get back to that hunger, that sense of purpose, everything changes. You stop chasing people and start attracting peace. You stop begging for loyalty and start commanding respect. When a man moves with purpose again, the right people naturally fall back in line. That's the beauty of it. You don't gotta prove nothing. Just become who you were meant to be. Purpose don't just bring success, it brings alignment. And when you align, betrayal can't break you because you finally understand nobody can leave a man who's truly walking in his purpose. They can only watch him ride. It never starts loud. That's the thing most men don't get. When a woman starts pulling back, she don't scream, she don't announce it, she just goes quiet. The silence hit different when you've been used to her laughter, her talking, her checking in on you. That silence is her way of saying everything she tried to put into words, but you never heard. It's not attitude, it's exhaustion. She's been explaining her feelings so long that she finally realized she can't talk a man into understanding her anymore. See, before she leaves physically, she leaves mentally. Long before she packs her bags or changes her number, she starts checking out in small ways, not replying the same, not asking how your day was, not arguing back. That's what hurts the most, not the betrayal, but the quiet that came before it. You can feel it, but you don't want to believe it. You tell yourself she's just moody, she's just busy, but deep down, you feel her energy fading, her warmth cooling, and that's the part most men ignore until it's too late. When a woman goes quiet, it means she already cried all the tears she had. She already tried to fix it. She already fought for you while you were too distracted to notice. She begged with her energy, not her words. She tried to connect with you when you were too focused on pride, ego, or distractions. And when that didn't work, she stopped fighting. That's when you lost her. Not when she walked away, but when she stopped trying to reach you. That silent withdrawal is powerful, man. It's her way of protecting her peace. It's not even about you anymore. It's about her realizing she can't keep giving her love to someone who treats it like background noise. You thought you had time. You thought she'd always be there. You thought her patience was forever. But even the strongest woman gets tired of waiting for a man to show up in the ways he promised. You can tell when that silence creeps in. She don't nag you anymore. She don't question where you've been. She don't check your tone. You think that's peace, but really it's distance. She's not invested enough to react. Her emotions detached before her body ever did. And once a woman detaches emotionally, it's damn near impossible to get her back. Because she's not angry anymore. She's numb. And you can't fix numb with apologies. You can't rebuild trust with talk. You got to rebuild yourself.
That silence is her goodbye rehearsed. It's her spirit slowly separating from something that no longer feels safe. And the reason it hurts so deep when she finally leaves is because you felt it coming. You felt it in every quiet dinner, every short reply, every night she rolled over and faced the wall. You just didn't take it seriously. You thought her silence was temporary, but silence is the sound of a decision being made.
When she stops talking, she's thinking. When she stops explaining, she's accepting. When she stops showing emotion, she's already gone. And the sad part is, most men only wake up when it's final. They start realizing all the things they took for granted, the way she believed in you, the way she showed up, the way she kept giving even when she was running on empty. But by the time you realize it, she's already too far gone to hear the apology. You can't force communication when the connection's already dead. The only way to bring back what was lost is to understand why she went quiet in the first place. You stopped listening. You stopped being present. You thought love was enough to cover up neglect, but love without attention fades. You thought she'd always wait for you to change, but she got tired of holding space for potential that never turned into action. Silence is a woman's final language. It's what comes after words failed, after hope ran out. So when you start feeling that distance, don't ignore it. That's your chance to wake up, to stop assuming she'll stay forever, to start showing up before she don't want you there anymore. You gotta rebuild that emotional connection, not with gifts or charm, but with presence, consistency, real effort. And if she's already gone, let that silence teach you something. Let it remind you to never take communication for granted again. The same way you used to love her voice, learn to respect her silence because it said everything you refused to hear. In the end, that quiet exit hurts more than any argument ever could. Because arguments mean there's still passion, still care, still hope. Silence means she let go. And once she lets go, you can't pull it back with promises. You gotta evolve, so the next time you love somebody, you don't make her feel unheard. You listen before she stops talking. You show up before she stops asking. You grow before she gives up. That's the real message in her silence. It's not revenge, it's reflection. It's her teaching you that the loudest lessons in life don't come from noise. They come from what's missing. When things fall apart, most people's first reaction is to point fingers. It's easier that way to say she changed, she switched up, she wasn't loyal. But the truth is, growth exposes everything fake. And sometimes what's exposed ain't her, it's you. Accountability is what separates real men from the ones still stuck in their pain. You can't lead nothing, can't build nothing, can't love nobody, right, if you always blaming somebody else for the way things turned out. You gotta look in the mirror and ask yourself, what part did I play in this? That's where the real healing starts. Not in trying to fix her, not in trying to make her regret it, but in facing your own reflection. Because every situation that breaks you also shows you where you were weak. Every woman that left showed you something about yourself that you didn't want to see. Maybe it was your pride. Maybe it was your inconsistency. Maybe it was your ego that made you think she'd never leave. See, accountability don't mean you the only one at fault. It just means you man enough to own your side of it. When you blame her, you stay stuck in victim mode. You start thinking life's happening to you instead of for you. But when you hold yourself accountable, you take your power back. You start realizing that every mistake, every heartbreak, every loss came to teach you something about discipline, about patience, about value. You can't grow if you're always defending yourself. Growth starts when you start listening to what she said, to what she didn't say, to what your actions really communicated. Most men lose women not because they ain't good enough, but because they stop evolving. They get too comfortable thinking love means she'll tolerate everything. But love don't mean she's supposed to suffer through your stagnation. It means she believed in your potential until you stop living up to it. You gotta understand, she didn't walk away from love. She walked away from repetition, from the same apologies with no change behind them, from the same promises that sounded good but never manifested. You can't keep blaming her for leaving when you gave her reasons to doubt your word. If you were truly growing, she wouldn't have needed to question your loyalty. She would have seen it in your actions. Accountability hurts. It forces you to admit that maybe you dropped the ball. Maybe you stopped showing appreciation. Maybe you stopped being emotionally available. But that pain, that's the kind that builds character. It's the kind that makes you stronger if you don't run from it. Most men drown in blame because they're scared of self-reflection. They rather call her disloyal than admit they didn't show up the way they should have. When you start taking responsibility, your whole energy shifts. You stop arguing over the past and start building for the future. You start realizing that your peace depends on your ability to own your role in your pain. You stop chasing closure from people and start finding it in understanding. That's when you grow into a real man, when you stop blaming and start learning. Blame keeps you stuck in cycle. Accountability breaks them. When you blame her, you replay the same pattern with the next woman, the next situation, the next heartbreak. But when you take accountability, you evolve. You learn how to communicate better, how to listen deeper, how to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. That's when you start attracting peace instead of drama. You don't need to be perfect, just aware enough to say, yeah, I messed up, I got distracted, I didn't show up the way I should have. That's strength. That's maturity. That's leadership. The world don't respect excuses. It respects evolution. The ones who own their truth always come out stronger because they use their pain as fuel instead of a story to stay bitter. So if she left, don't sit there saying she betrayed me. Ask yourself, did I betray myself first? It's half the time the betrayal you feel from others started when you ignored your own intuition, your own standards, your own goals. You let things slide. You stayed in spaces that didn't challenge you. You let your ego lead when your purpose should have been in control. That's where accountability starts, right there in the mirror with no audience, no excuses. Once you take ownership, everything changes. You stop seeing her as the enemy. You start thanking her for the lesson. You realize she wasn't the loss, she was the test. A mirror that showed you what you still needed to fix within yourself. And when you fix that, you don't chase revenge or closure. You move different, you attract different. You become the man who doesn't need to explain himself. His actions speak louder. That's the power of accountability. It don't break you, it builds you. It turns pain into perspective and heartbreak into higher understanding. When you stop pointing fingers and start owning your story, nobody can use your past against you. You already turned it into power. Loss got a way of humbling you. It strips away the noise, the ego, the distractions, all that surface level stuff that used to make you feel like you were in control. When someone you love walks away, when something you built falls apart, that's when you start to see who you really are. Pain got a way of showing you truth. It don't lie, it don't sugarcoat. It reveals everything that was fake, everything that was weak, everything that wasn't built on foundation. See, loss ain't meant to destroy you. It's meant to elevate you. Every time life takes something away, it's testing your alignment. It's asking, do you still believe in yourself when what you loved is gone? Most people fold right there. They drown in blame. They get bitter. They start thinking life unfair. But the real ones, they use that pain as motivation. They rebuild. They refocus. They come back sharper, wiser, more disciplined. You gotta understand, every loss got a lesson hidden inside it. Sometimes it ain't even about the person you lost. It's about the version of you that existed when you had them. That version might have been complacent, distracted, or soft. So when they left, it forced you to wake up. It forced you to look at your life and ask, am I really living up to my potential? That's the blessing behind the heartbreak. It pushes you closer to who you're supposed to be. When everything's comfortable, growth slows down. But when you lose something that mattered, you start moving different. You start cutting off habits, people, and patterns that no longer serve you. You start valuing peace over attention, purpose over pleasure. Pain got a way of reorganizing your priorities. It makes you stop chasing what don't feed your spirit. You start realizing that maybe the loss was actually protection from a life that wasn't meant for the person you're becoming. When somebody walks away, it hurts, no question. You question your worth, your effort, your love. But later you start seeing how it made you stronger. You start realizing you needed that silence to hear your own thoughts again. You needed that heartbreak to stop pouring into people who were draining you. You needed that distance to remember what self-respect feels like. You needed to lose them to find yourself. Loss brings clarity. It shows you what matters and what doesn't. It teaches you how to detach without becoming cold, how to love without losing yourself, how to give without expecting. You start learning the difference between attachment and alignment. Attachment says, I need you to be happy. Alignment says, I can love you, but I can also let you go if it's blocking my peace. That's maturity, learning how to stand tall even when your heart's still bleeding. It's crazy how pain becomes your best teacher. Once you stop running from it, you start appreciating the strength it built in you. You start walking different, calmer, quieter, but more powerful, because you've seen what breaking feels like and you survived it. You realize that no loss can really break you if you don't lose yourself in the process. That's real elevation, when the same thing that tried to destroy you ends up shaping your greatness. Most people see loss as an ending, but the truth is it's a transition. Every time something leaves your life, space opens up for something better. The problem is we too busy holding on to what hurt us that we don't let new blessings in. You can't receive with closed hands. Sometimes God gotta remove what's familiar so you can grow into what's destined. The relationship, the friendship, the situation, it had to fall apart so you could rebuild on stronger ground. You ever notice how every major breakthrough comes after heartbreak? How your biggest glow up usually follows your darkest season? That's because loss activates something in you that comfort never could. It teaches you resilience. It forces you to dig deeper. It makes you trust yourself more. That's why the ones who've been through the most pain often carry the most wisdom. They learn how to turn wounds into wisdom, scars into stories, pain into power. So don't fear loss. Embrace it as part of your evolution. Every time you lose something, remind yourself, this is not the end, it's the leveling up. The people who walked away, the love that didn't last, the plans that didn't work, all of it was meant to clear your path. Every closed door redirected you toward your purpose. You just didn't see it at the time. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the loss you cried over was the same thing that made you unstoppable. It broke your ego, but built your character. It humbled you, but sharpened your focus. It hurt you, but healed your vision. That's elevation. Pain raised you higher than comfort ever could. Because through every loss, you didn't just survive, you transformed. And that transformation is the real victory.